Right. Right then. Let me move that over there. Let me get that up as well. And then I'll bring up this. Right, live. And then I want to do that one. Gus. Right, there we go. Right. This is going to be a very quick, speedy live stream. Because, yeah, there we go. Make sure everything's working. Now I can see what's going on. This is the very spur of the moment live stream, by the way. But I thought I'd make people aware of the risks of the storm. It does look to be quite strong. I'm just going to post that just to let people know. And there we go. Right, make sure. Hello, all good. Yeah, okay, we're all good. Right, this is going to be a very quick live stream just to make people aware of the risks associated with this Storm Floris, which has now made inroads to the UK. You can see I've got a live one here with the wind gusts, and you can see it's already quite windy in places. Hello to Hazel. Nice to see you in the chat. Hope you're doing all right. It's just very windy at the moment. You can see, particularly in the northwestern flank of Scotland. Whoopsie days, can't use that. But you can see here that the wind gusts have reached 86 miles an hour just out at sea. Barely, like the Isles of Skye, for example, 80 to 85 miles an hour is being recorded currently at 12:32. Of course, this might be a little bit off, but it won't be too far off. Inland gusts of 60 to 70. Highs of possibly 80 just to south of Inverness. There's also been some lightning strikes just to the northwest of Inverness, which has been pinpointed basically around where I am here. You can see that it's yeah, pretty bad. It was forecast to be pretty bad, but yeah, the usual over the top. Or maybe where you are, PV of Doom, it is just a bit windy, but it's you know, it's a different story here. Afternoon to the Trainer Nature show. Hopefully you're doing all right, Chris. Saying that to the yeah, poor James in his little shed. His little shed, he'll be getting blown over. Also, Random showed me the video of weather, little weather thing, and it looked very windy up there, I must say. But yeah, for you, PV of Doom, it might not be anything. The usual over the top. Well, I mean, some models are suggesting 90 miles an hour plus, and it's already 84. So, you know, take with that what you will. You know what I mean? Scottish saying hi. Hopefully, you're keeping yourself safe and well up there. It's well, according to this, it's if you're around here, which I think you just hear, it's like 55, 60. But of course, exposed locations will see it a little bit more than others. So, yeah. Very wild in Central Belt, is it? Yeah, it does look like it probably will get to that stage. You can see it seems to reach around 60. I'm not sure how much of it is in view. You can just see 2 p.m. it's like 60 miles an hour. But you can see the strongest gusts. Sorry about the freezing, by the way. It's just showing a lot. See, the strongest gusts at 2 p.m. are suggested to be like 91, just to the west of Inverness, and like Carla 73. I've been there before. Gairloch 85. Yeah, it does look pretty bad. Ullapool 80. Wow, I've been near all these places before. But you can see the centre of the low is just to the north. So obviously that's where the calmer conditions are. So the far north of Scotland is kind of positioned over the top. Obviously on the southern flank, you see the strongest winds is like this arc here. 80 miles an hour plus in this zone. Obviously, isolated spots might see a little bit higher, but yeah, definitely quite extreme for the time of year. It's quite extreme. Those who don't know, I've updated you. Yeah, it is Laura. Everyone knows Laura, don't they? Richard UK saying, hey, hopefully we missed most of it in Leicestershire. Well, hopefully we miss it in South Yorkshire. It's not too bad at the moment if you look. at northern England, 50 to 60 in some places over the hills. But of course, these regions in this like central northern flank here, just to the west of York and northwards, are quite hilly areas, if you know what I mean. You've got like the Yorkshire Dales, and then you've got the just lots of dales. just hills and hills and mountains. I wonder what it's like at Ben Nevis today. I wouldn't like to be there, that's for sure. But it reaches at least 100 miles an hour somewhere. You can see that over the next few hours, as it clears into the North Sea, into the Norwegian Sea, that centre of the low moves around 4 or 5 o'clock, where it's expected to. And on the back edge, we could remain seeing some quite strong winds in the northeast. So 70 miles an hour in Fraserburgh. Hopefully I said that right, if you live there. 75 in Elgin is potentially recorded as it moves away. So, yeah, it's an interesting spot at the moment. If we look at another one as well, this is Ventusky. They're suggesting 89 miles an hour at the moment, just out in the Atlantic, over some of the Isles. So it's an interesting one, isn't it? It's a very interesting one. So we'll just have to see how it progresses. But you can see 1 o'clock, this is predicting up to 98 miles an hour inland. I mean, that would be pretty extraordinary, I must say, for the time of year, August time. That is pretty extreme. Breezy and Gates said UK, nothing too bad. Yeah, I shouldn't expect anything too bad for you, really. Because, you know, it says here out 40, so it's like 45 to 50 probably is your highest you'd expect. Just basically exposed locations are looking like your most likely culprits. Going to head out 1 PM to get your motor. Cheers, Scott. Just let me know if it gets what it's like. If my carer is not here in the next 20 minutes, like she told me, I'll be anxious and call the office at 1 PM. I know you do, Hazel. Just try and keep calm, and just remember that at least you're not seeing the too bad of the strong winds today. But hopefully your carer arrives on time, Hazel. Yeah, Jay, same. It's not very. It's not too bad in the Midlands, is it? If you look where I am, it's like 30 to 40, but gotta be honest, I don't really see it at the moment. It's not really 30 to 40 at all. But of course it might change. But I can't imagine. Look, 30 to 40, it's barely gusting anymore. It was earlier, but it's not now. It's not really too much happening. But I'm not too bothered about me. It's more about up north, isn't it? Where the storm is focused, where we could see anything. Little spirited gust just now, nothing out of the ordinary for Derbyshire. Not seeing the 40-hour forecast. Yeah, I'm not seeing that here, to be honest. But obviously it is focused further north and west. So looking at that, comparing the models, it does look pretty similar. I mean, this UKV run, which came out this morning at 3 AM, the morning run, showed the strongest winds focused in the north and the west by 12 o'clock. I must say, looking now, does it look as strong? Now, obviously this one does, but this is a model run. If you look at the live one, it's showing 80 to 85. Oopsie daisies. Get them likes up, everyone. Let's get this stream out to more people as well. I do appreciate you all joining. If we look at the live picture, the current picture from the weather station, it's not really showing that, is it? Obviously, there's not too much in this region. There's not too many weather stations in this region where we're seeing the highest gusts. But you can see 79 on this island here, 70 mile an hour inland. But of course, there's massive gaps between where the biggest gusts will be and like the stations that record them, because they're not all going to be very accurate. But for what we can see from the UKV, you'd expect that core to be moving northeastwards. Highs of 90 miles an hour just on the southern flank of the area of low pressure of the Storm Floris. Quite widespread, 60 miles an hour across Scotland, upwards of possibly 70 for the northwest, and peaks of 80 to 90 in places. That's clearing to our northeast. It will weaken for a time by the looks of it before it strengthens. It moves into the North Sea. You can see just off the northeast coast there of Scotland, 91 to 94 miles an hour just off the coast. Look at the strongest gusts are remaining out at sea at that point. Before it moves into the North Sea and moves towards Scandinavia, and then things do begin to calm down. So again, focus mainly on far northern England, central belt Scotland, and just most of Scotland really. Central England, not seeing too much, I'll be honest. I wouldn't expect too much really. Maybe a little bit gusty, but I think this is actually overdoing it for where like the Midlands and Northlands. It's not too bad, unless you live on like a higher ground, I guess is how I'd put it. But it's not too bad for any of us. Really, I wouldn't say. Current situation, again, it is still beginning to progress across the UK very slowly. You can see those strongest wind gusts are beginning to progress further northeastwards. So, yeah. Wind's not as high here, but it's actually thundering. Yeah, I've just seen that. There's been some thundering. Hello to Crift, how are you doing? Wi-Fi is crashing. 3 claps of thunder. 2 very bright flashes. Not heard any for 5 minutes now. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It was meant to be a lot worse, I think, than the models are suggesting. Like this one at 2 PM is suggesting for you, James, like around 90 miles an hour. But maybe it's a little bit over the top. Maybe the models have developed the low more than it was suggested to be. I'll have to have a look actually. What's the pressure like? 979 at the centre at 2. If we look now, it's about 980. 981 was predicted by the icon. GFS slightly deeper at 977. I'm not sure if we can look. Yeah, this is from the runs. This isn't like a live thing. But you can see at the moment it's apparently about 980, 979 millibars at the centre. So, yeah. All in all, pretty average early autumn storm pushing through quickly. Yeah, currently quite warm with these winds around 21 degrees currently. It's 20.6 here, so pretty much the same, isn't it? Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? It's not too bad, I guess. Obviously, in these areas close to the storm, of course, PV of Doom, you're going to say that, but, you know, if you do live in those areas, it might get worse, it might intensify as it moves through. It's not too bad. I have seen worse, I must say, but it could, you know, it could go down. Obviously, it sounds like the biggest risk at the moment is thunderstorms and lightning. I've seen a few pictures of some lightning on Twitter and stuff. I mean, X. It does seem like that at the moment is the biggest risk, and obviously some quite heavy rain as that moves through. You can see currently some heavy rain and thunderstorms to the west of Inverness. Heavy patches, 20 millimetres an hour sort of rain near the Isle of Skye. But again, not too much. We'll have to wait and see, but it does. Maybe the radars and the models are intensifying it a little bit more than we are seeing currently. But that could change. It could deeply intensify as it moves across. Who knows? Who knows if it is a little bit off? Yeah. So yeah, not too bad. I think it sounds like the big. Oh, nice one, Hazel. I'm glad that she's arrived on time. Hopefully you get everything sorted nicely. Very warm and muggy here. Yeah, yeah, it is muggy here, to be honest. It is quite muggy, I'll give you that. It does feel like summer's brewing, but of course it's not. It's not. Humidity, you can see there, centre of the storm, 80%. You know. Temperatures at the moment, quite cold for, well, I say cold, man, that's hyping. It's about 10 to 11 degrees for Scotland there, you can see. Maybe about Scotland, 10 to 11. Warmest in the east, 18 to 20 possibly. For central England, 19 degrees, northwest slightly cooler as well, 15 degrees, and then the southeast seeing the best of the weather, 22. If you look at Europe as a whole, you can see that things have generally cooled down. 33 to 36 across Spain, Seville 36, Madrid 33, Portugal's not too bad, 27s. Things have cooled down in Europe. Look at near Munich, and obviously this is like the Alps, 9 to 12 degrees, so probably snowfall. I wouldn't even be surprised. But obviously we have that massive like heat dome across many parts of Europe. That seems to have dissipated for now, but I'm sure it'll be back later on. In fact, it's expected. You can see across Africa, Algeria 44 degrees, pretty extreme. Saudi Arabia 47. Did they record 50 degrees somewhere? Currently in Basra, it's 50 degrees. There you go, 50 degrees near Basra and Baghdad. Anyway, I'm focusing on the UK here, not on other countries. But yeah, you can see, you know, it's interesting to look at, isn't it? It's yeah, 990 at Boy, 6 North at Sea at 12 PM. 50.5 recorded at Turkey. Yeah. Hooks Global's webcam is being hit quite bad from the storm. There's a constant noise of wind. Yeah, exactly. We've got to remember that in isolated spots it may fare worse than others, especially if you're on the higher ground like James is. But yeah, it does vary, doesn't it? From place to place, like 5 miles away there might not be anything, but 5 miles away there might not be anything, but it's one of those. They did have snow. I saw that. I was telling James about that. Look at this. Go to Australia and look at the temperatures. No, it's showing. Maybe here it's bloody snowing right now. Yeah, so definitely not too bad. See what it's like over the next few hours. You can see it is quite cool over southern Australia, northern Australia, of course, close to Singapore and Indonesia, so obviously Philippines, and it's obviously always quite warm over there. But can see southern Australia, Melbourne and Canberra, quite cold, well, quite cool spell. And they have had some snows. Ben rightly stated, yeah, they have had some snow over there. Feels like temperature is pretty cool as well, but you know, it's kind of what you'd expect, really. It's not too far off. I like looking at the satellite on this website. I think it's really good. And lots of cloud around. Here it's sunshine, so I'm not sure where they're getting that from. I've got to say, it's quite sunny here. So, well, am I? I mean, yeah, cloudy. It's not cloudy here, I can tell you that. The sun's out, so yeah, no thick cloud across Scotland, possibly with some thunderstorms. But yeah, 80 miles an hour. Paul far too into to go out chasing them, lol. Yeah, they have been seeing some very big snowfalls soon. I will say I've seen it all over the social medias, and I have mentioned it a few times. Love the worldwide look ahead. Yeah, don't worry, there'll be more of them. There'll be more of them during the summer, and I'm sure through the winter as well. I'm sure you'll all love looking at them. I am still going to do my European thing, which I did say I'd do a few months ago, and I'm still working on that weather model. It's very slow progress. Of course, it's a one-man band, and it's when I've got time, which is limited. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes as well. So it's slow progress. But we'll just see. We'll just see how it all plays out, really. Might have to give up on it, but it's worth a shot, innit? Hazel's in pain. Well, I hope that hopefully that it can get it sorted out. Paul says it's better to go on holiday in the Canary Islands. It's always warm, but not too hot due to a cold water current. That's quite true. The humidity is a lot lower over there. So when we're talking about 30 degrees being, horrendous for some of us, and like really warm and hot, it's not too bad in other countries because of that humidity. It's always humid over here, just due to where we're positioned, really. It's that's why. And definitely not random said currently getting heavy rain and 50-mile-an-hour gusts. So what you'd expect, isn't it, really? I think that this icon run was a little bit extreme, I must say, showing 98 miles an hour across northwest Scotland. I do think it is a little bit over the top of the pudding there, 98 to 90. I think it is a little bit higher than it is currently, but I might be a little bit wrong. But on the whole, it's going about as you'd expect. I think that usually the models do over-egg the pudding a little bit, but it is still quite bad, if you know what I mean. Wind gusts, see the centre of the wind gusts is still apparently out at sea, but if we move to now, can see it begins to progress northeastwards. Why does that keep happening? But it's moving northeastwards. It's going to clear through into the North Sea and out into the Norwegian Sea, into Norway and Sweden and one place, Scandinavia. Strongest of the wind centred across like the Isle of Skye, for example, 60 to 70 apparently, 70 to 80 just out to the west of Scotland. So we'll see how it all plays out. I do like this Meteo or Zoom.earth website. I do recommend it a lot. This is Zoom.earth. It gives you the actual supposed live readings. Wow, look at that. Isle of Skye. I've been there. 86 miles an hour apparently in Portree. That's pretty bad. Again, though, from what we've heard, these might be slightly over the top. These wind gusts from the model runs anyway. Remember, this is based entirely on a model run. This site, so this is based on the Icon and the GFS run put together. So it will always seem a little bit higher than it probably is currently, just due to the nature of this website, because it's combining two model runs. But yeah, so remember experiencing over 80 miles an hour in 2022 due to uniques. I think the highest I've seen around here is about 85. Yeah, it was pretty bad, wasn't it? Storm Eunice, I remember that. Storm Eunice, I call it Eunice, but some people call it Eunice. So what? It's like Iowan. That was the worst storm ever to say. Obviously, it was a really bad storm for Northern Ireland. They were really bad, and also exposed course in Ireland as well. God, I'm losing my words today. Don't normally do live streams more than once a week, so I'm a bit all over the place with this one. I do apologise. So what I would say is that if you haven't seen these strong wind gusts in Scotland and you're like, I haven't seen them yet, remember that the storm is going to move across to the east very slowly, slow moving through Scotland. So around 2 p.m. could see the strongest wind gusts and probably the highest sustained wind gusts. The heights are uncertain because the models have got it a little bit wrong at the moment. They're overdoing what we expected in places. The general trend is a little bit lower than the expected wind gusts, but of course, like for James, seeing not ridiculous, probably thunder and lightning at the moment, and obviously that's cleared away. But where we've seen the highest wind gusts, that might change. And it also could mean that places that haven't seen the strongest wind gusts could see them later, particularly inland. I also just expect this northeastern corner here to see some very strong wind gusts, so extending from like Wick and John O'Groats down to Aberdeen. I just think there could be some strong gusts there, maybe up to 70 miles an hour as well. But of course, I'm only guessing, but we'll see what happens. Cheers, Chris. Love the live stream. Thanks for tuning in as always. Just join. What have I missed? Devon, hello to you. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, we've just been looking at the latest from the storm. These gusts on the screen right now are for northern Scotland, and they are a little bit higher. It's probably around 70 to 80, maybe a little bit less in some spots. But most strongest gusts are currently in the northwest, but they will begin to transfer further eastwards through the day. For central England again, central northern England, you can see over the hills 50 miles an hour, possible 50 to 60. And further southwards, not too much going on, just slightly gusty in places. For where I am in Barnsley, for example, I'm around here. You can see it says it's going to currently. So if you look at 1 p.m, 40 miles an hour. I can tell you it is not bad at the moment. It's about 10. It's not doing too much around me, but that might change. You never know. But I'm not expecting too much around here. Basically, what I will say is to summarise. The south won't see too much. Maybe over your hills like where Barb Mac lives. She lives quite a high elevation, but exposed areas like Herefordshire could see the stronger gusts. You can see like around where Barb is, Herefordshire, 40 miles an hour, obviously a little bit higher over the hills. Central England, not too bad. The Midlands, for example, I'm not expecting too much, maybe a few gusty winds. Northern England in the northeast may see the strongest gusts later on as they move through the UK. And then, of course, the main focus is on northwest Scotland, central belt, obviously seeing sustained for 60 mile an hour gusts mostly. It's like random of Scottish Fury in the chat, probably seeing average gusts of 60, obviously around 40 wind speeds, but maybe wind gusts of up to 60, 65 possibly. I think the highest gust that we will record today, it's already reached, the highest gust has been 76 from what I've seen, so maybe it could reach 85 to 90 would be my guess of the peak winds, like this 87 in Portree. I could imagine that happening at some point, but not yet. But again, we'll have to wait and see. The pressure is quite low. 979 millibars is very low for the time of year. But yeah, to me, the storm of October 1987 was the best. Walking home from work at 2 a.m. was quite something. Winds are now strengthening here. They shouldn't be too bad, Soup. They shouldn't be too bad. Shouldn't be too bad. I did actually watch. No, I agree, Crift. I actually watched the documentary on that October 1987. That was pretty incredible. Tropical Storm Dexter was formed in the Atlantic. Yeah, I've seen that. It's that might be interesting as well. There's some interesting pinpoints. There he is. Look, Tropical Storm Dexter. He's going to track northeastwards. He's going to avoid America. But there you go. He's currently 45-mile-an-hour tropical storm. So nothing too intense, but you can see the degree of uncertainty is very high. Well, high at the moment. Expects to turn to a tropical, post-tropical cyclone by Wednesday, and then it's going to make its track northward. It's not going to get very far though. We've got this high pressure sat, so that's going to begin to move though as we go through the days and weeks to follow. So yeah, that's it really. Watch the UK biggest storm. Imagine Tropical Storm Dexter came for us. Dexter got dropped by a front on Floris for 8 days. It did. Yeah, you're right, Devon. It did. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm glad we have the rain as well. We're still in a drought period here in Yorkshire, and I know a few places further south are as well. Cannot pinpoint. I only know from my area that the reservoirs are at 48%. Remember, you got to remember though that 20% of that loss is down to leakages. So we're like the ones which they don't repair. About 22% of that water has been lost through that. So we would actually be fine if it wasn't for all the water leaks that they don't repair and stuff. But I'm not going to say anything on that today. There has been rain last few days. 2013 September, worse for me. Yeah. So if aircraft, Tropical Storm Dexter did ever or was ever on the spectrum to come here, I don't think it'd be that bad because it would have weakened that much. But I think it's actually expected to head towards Greenland, carried by the jet stream, which is going to head back northwards again. I think it's expected to head further towards Greenland, so I don't think we'll see anything from that. Obviously, still a bit of a way away, but very unlikely at this stage is what I'd say. Yeah, well, there you go. You can see though, if we have a look at this storm, does slightly develop as it moves into the North Sea. You can see that it's expected to head right towards Scandinavia, the Nordic regions, by around 10 AM tomorrow. So it looks like they could see some strong winds as well with that. You can see two lows develop within that. It's yeah. Interesting findings, 90%. Yeah, it's not round here. Not at all round here. We'll have to do them water transfer schemes round here, won't they? Where they transfer it from like Kielder Dam in the northwest. We get a lot of our water from there. From what I know, from what I understand anyway. 90% full. You're lucky then, Ben. I'm just saying you're very lucky around there. You don't have all the hose pipe bands, but to be fair, from what my dad told me, we don't really use our hose pipe that much anyway. It's only to wash the cars, and we haven't done that in ages. Usually just take it to like a car wash or something if you want it doing. Yeah, but there you go. So I'll summarise everything up. Obviously, I just want to make a very quick live stream to make some of you aware. Thank you all for joining. I do appreciate you all joining. I ain't got too much time on my hands today. I would expect though for me to release another video tonight, and that'll be like a regular video with a bit of fun mixed in. It's gonna be quite a long one. So if you do find that interesting, then please do watch it later on. And thank you for the recent support from you all. I do appreciate it. Still a quiet time of the year, but we're doing pretty damn well on the channel. So it's all down to you lot. So thank you all very much for watching. But anyway, to summarise. What was that? 1 minute. Oh. How lovely, it's drizzling. How lovely. Anyway, sorry about that. I just went to have a look. So the southeast, not too much going on. What am I doing? What am I doing? Southeast, not too much going on. Oh dear, Dan. I hope you've sorted it now. I'll have a read of that in a minute. Southeast though, not too much going on. I wouldn't expect. Maybe restricted wind gusts 35 to 40 possibly, but I'm not expecting too much unless you're on elevated ground. The western half of the UK, talking southwest, not too much, slightly gusty, not too much. The furthest away from the centre of the low, so not too much. Heading further northwards, the Wales, Wales won't see too much, I wouldn't expect. Obviously, it's probably its peak gusts right now, and that's going to, as that low pressure moves eastwards, the strongest winds will also progress eastwards. So these gusts of 40 to 50 probably will weaken as we go through the day. Central England and like the Midlands, for example, and Leicestershire, yeah, we'll see gusts not too bad. I won't expect anything more than 40 miles an hour unless you're higher ground. So maybe 50 miles an hour in a few isolated spots. Heading further northwards, northern England could see gusts of 50 to 60 miles an hour. I won't rule it out. In the east as well, so like Newcastle, Durham, Edinburgh, they might see the strongest gusts in a couple of hours' time. As Storm Floris moves eastwards, they could see stronger gusts. Few heavier, stronger gusts in like the Liverpool area and the Blackpool areas. Workington 48 might be. They'll clear through as well through the next few hours. Heading further northwards up to the central belt, 50 to 60 miles an hour throughout the day. Maybe highs of 70 in exposed locations. Northwest, that'll be clearing through over the next few hours, but maybe highs of 80 miles an hour. Let's just say that. In that northwestern areas, like the Isle of Skye, for example. We'll have to just see the verified readings later on, what they reached, because that will begin to clear through. Now, that will begin to move further eastwards. But then, obviously, the strongest winds will be focused for central inland Scotland, moving further east through the latter hours or into the evening. So, obviously, the strongest gusts in the east are expected around 4 or 5 p.m. But you can just see general wind gusts of Scotland aren't really any lower than 50 miles an hour, or they aren't expected to be. So that's the summary. Thank you all very much for watching today's stream. For so much soon. Me too, Bab. I'll keep you posted. I'll keep everyone posted on that. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully that was informative for some of you. And obviously, if you are in these warning areas, the amber warnings, stay safe. And I'll keep you posted. Keep following on the YouTubes, on the X's, the Twitters, and also on my Discord. But that's it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.